got a short video for you on how to dismantle and service your standard universal steering damper. These are commonly available on eBay. They're quite well made. They're universal, you can use them on dirt bikes or road bikes. Quite simple to pull apart and service and change the oil or the O-rings. So hopefully you'll find this very helpful. So here's my steering damper, conventional steering damper I've mounted on my KTM. But what I have noticed is there's a slight amount of oil weeping out of one end here. So I suspect maybe the O-rings aren't up to the task. So I'm going to show you how to dismantle this and replace the O-rings and change the oil. Okay, I've removed the steering damper from the bike. Now all we have to do is unscrew this end cap here, and you can use a pair of circlip pliers to put it in the holes there and push down and twist anti-clockwise. There you go, and that loosens the cap. Now inside here is a bush, and inside the bush is an oil seal. So all you need to do is just give it a sharp pull upwards, and then that bushing will come out. Now, to replace the O-ring, you just need the little hook tool there to get under the O-ring and pull it off, like that. And then put a new one on. Now I've already done it, but I've got an O-ring kit here, and I selected an O-ring that was slightly thicker. So I'll put that back on here. And obviously it's the same for the other end. Next thing to do is just push this floating piston down a small amount, and there's a small circlip in there which you can usually get out with your little pointy tool there. So take that circlip out, because I need to, yeah, that's right, just screw the cap in a couple of turns just to hold it, and then you can see I can move the piston and force it out. So you want to get the first bit out, and then there's the second part. And that's got a hole in the middle of it, so you can often just put the circlip pliers in there and grip the inside of it. That's got an O-ring on it as well. There you go. So we've taken that out. So you need both those pieces out. So now we can empty the oil out, so I'll just remove this again and pull that up. And just pump the piston in and out. You usually only need to take this end out here to replace the oil, and obviously the floating piston arrangement here, which is to provide a pressurised system to prevent foaming. I've got some evaporating parts cleaner here, so I'm just going to give it a good spray. So it just gets all the old oil out. And then I'll get the air hose. Okay, now I'm going to fill this up again. I'm using automatic transmission fluid, which is a good hydraulic fluid for anything like this. They do use it in suspension components. It has seal conditioner in it, so it's fine, and it's about ATF, I think, is around 5 weight, maybe a bit more. But I'll just pour it into the body. And I'll also pour some into here. And then the idea is to pump it up and down. You can possibly see the bubbles coming out of here. So you pump it up and down to bleed all the air out. Okay, I'll put a rag around here just to stop any spillage, but we've got it partially filled and there's no bubbles in this section here, and that's about half full. So what we do is get the floating piston and put that in there like that, and push it right down to the bottom, and then get the other piston So what you want to do is get it so it's just that the top of it is just below the groove, or in line with the bottom of the groove where the circlip goes. Because what we want to do is create an airspace in there between those two pistons. So here's the circlip, and put that in. Okay, so that's in the groove. Oh, I just need to put a bit more oil in it. Take this off now. I'm just going to pump it up and down. The oil level is sitting around here. But I want to get all the air out, so there's still bubbles. And make sure the adjustment knob here is wound right out to soft. Keep working it up and down like this. So there's no air bubbling now. And what I normally do is leave it for about 10 minutes just to make sure if there's any air in there it works its way up to the top. Okay, I've left this for about 10 minutes. Now the oil level is about here, so it's probably about there on the piston. So what we've got to do is push this down, and you can feel the pressure. So what happens is the floating piston in here is pushing up against this air spring that we've created. And it needs to be under pressure to eliminate foaming. Okay, so that's screwing in. So that feels good. So that's how you do it. There's no air in there. So now you know how to service your conventional universal steering damper.